What's going on, Impact Fit family? It's your boys, Coach Matt, Coach Sarge, coming at you guys with another Minute with Matt's video. Today we got an awesome one, the top 5 secret high protein foods, right? We always talk about the basic ones, right? Your chicken, your beef, your eggs, your protein powder, but there's a lot of other foods that have pretty substantial high concentrated amounts of protein with limited calories, limited carbohydrates, limited fats that can help boost your overall protein intake for the day, all right? And this is really important because for our program we're running right now, Max Shred, with some clients, we're all looking into different ways to increase our protein without having our calories go too high. So this is a really important list.
And these are the 3 P's and the 2 S's. We just came up with
the 3 P's and the 2 S's, right?
3 of the secret proteins start with P, 2 start with S's.
Yeah.
And the first one, if you don't mind me going right into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually have been enjoying these in the morning. I actually have a baked pea snack. So there's your first P.
Peas.
We have some math notes to help you guys out. 4 grams of protein for a half a cup. And again, you can easily double that, right? Because that's not a lot of peas on a plate.
If you put a half a cup of peas on a plate, it's obviously not going to be that much, right? So a full cup of peas, again, it's not going to be too high in calories, obviously not going to be too high in carbs. It doesn't quite count as a leafy green veggie. It's still kind of in that carb family, but you know, 8 grams of carbs for a cup of peas. Again, a really simple way to add protein to your plate. So you're putting your meat on the side, you're putting your carbs on the side, or your veggies on the side, you add some peas on top of it, or even like some whole wheat pasta and some peas on top, right? Really simple ways to add the protein, right? So peas is number 1, and like Coach Sarge said, he actually has a pea-based snack that you probably got at what, Wawa?
Giant.
Right?
Yeah, they're like baked and flavored, so they're really good.
Little pea snacks, right?
Wasabi ranch is my favorite.
Yeah, but pea is also a complete protein, right? So obviously we know that a lot of vegan style protein shakes are pea proteins, but we're going to talk about you know, edamame here in a little bit, but peas themselves too, you know, you're going to get more protein.
My ears are itchy from the pre-workout. So if you see me constantly scratching my ears, I just drank some pre-workout.
Peas, I actually did too, but it didn't hit me yet. But peas themselves are a complete protein, and you're going to get a better quality protein source from the actual pea versus the pea protein shake, the powder, the what's the word I'm looking for?
Like the vegan protein kind of pea powder stuff, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but the process, I was looking for that word, process, right? So once you process it, yes, that protein comes from the peas, but again, you're gonna get a better quality source of it directly from the pea itself, and again, it doesn't add a whole lot of extra food to your plate. So that's number 1. Number 2, what do we have?
You wanna go with a P or an S?
Let's go pea again.
Pea?
Because you can put this pea on top of the other pea.
You're right. Parmesan cheese. That's a sneaky one. Who doesn't love Parmesan cheese?
Parmesan
Even though it smells like feet a little bit.
It smells like feet a little bit. But here's the deal with the Parmesan cheese, right? You can't get any old Parmesan cheese, right? So if you get like that powdered version, again, the processed, broken down version, it's not actually Parmesan cheese. There's a lot of fillers and things in it to make it kind of taste like Parmesan cheese, but it's not really the best quality source. So when we say Parmesan cheese, we mean organic, like the flaky kind of Parmesan cheese. But how many are you going to get in this one?
11 grams of protein per ounce.
Per ounce, right?
Yeah.
So super highly concentrated. 1 ounce Parmesan cheese obviously is not that much. So if you even do 2 ounces or 3 ounces, which is still, again, it's not a whole lot of cheese. You're talking about freaking 30 grams of protein right there.
And you know, a lot of cheese and other dairy products have protein in it, but just not that high. That's like extremely high. That's the best of the best
One
right
of the
there.
examples that we use, obviously a very commonly eaten cheese, is cheddar cheese. Everyone likes cheddar cheese, but comparing cheddar cheese to Parmesan, cheddar only has 6 grams of protein, whereas again, the right type of Parmesan has 11 grams, right? So I can't remember the brand, but if you go get like whatever that green container of like the powdery Parmesan cheese,
Kraft,
like
I think.
Kraft
I think it's
Parmesan
Kraft,
cheese,
yeah.
like that probably won't have it, even though that probably still does have some protein in it. Again, you'll know what we're talking about. The organic, you know, you see like a little glass jar of it with like all the flakes, or even getting a big block of it and grating it yourself.
So good.
Standing over and grating it yourself, right? You're going to get a little bit more protein per ounce, so you're getting more bang for your buck there. But again, really simple way to increase your protein intake, right?
Let's go with the last P. We'll finish up the
We'll go all peas?
Yeah, we'll go all peas and then go all S's.
Oh, I remember.
Go ahead, say it.
Pumpkin seeds.
Hey.
The next one is pumpkin seeds. So just like the Parmesan cheese, a lot of different versions of nuts and seeds. All have protein, all have fats, all have a little bit of carbs in it, are all pretty calorically dense. But pumpkin seeds themselves are going to be the, again, biggest bang for your buck. It's going to have 8 grams?
8 grams per ounce.
8 grams
Best
per
protein
ounce.
ratio there for sure.
So you compare pumpkin seeds to almonds or cashews, where you might only be getting 3 grams of protein or 6 grams of protein. I think I looked up almonds. I think
And a lot more fats probably.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think the almonds are like 6 grams of protein, so it's kind of right there, but like 17, 18 grams of fats. Whereas the pumpkin seeds, you're only getting like 11 grams of fats plus that 8 grams of protein. So again, only 1 ounce is not going to fill up your plate a whole lot. If you look at like a bag of pumpkin seeds, like an ounce is probably only going to be like a little 1-inch sliver of that. So you can eat quite a bit of them without going too high in calories, too high in fats, and get a lot of protein in there by just doubling that to 2 or 3 ounces. Again, you're all the way up to 24, 25 grams of protein. So while you're keeping your other macros kind of in check there. So that's a really big one.
Yeah, and right into the addition of that into a plate. I mean, putting that right next to your lean protein source, your best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting high up there on a meal. You're going 30, 40, 50.
Right.
Sometimes even bigger, depending on the size of your meat.
So think about like what Sarge is saying, and we're going to talk about this a little bit at the end, but you're still having your normal food, right? So you're having your chicken, you're having your broccoli, you're having your regular meal, and then as your little snack, you have some pumpkin seeds, and now you take that, 20, 30 grams of chicken you just ate of protein, and you're adding in an additional 11, 12, 15 grams of protein just from having a nice little snack.
3-4 meals a day, that adds up.
For sure.
Easy way.
So those are the 3 P's.
3 P's.
The final 2
2
are
S's.
S's, right? Number 1,
spinach.
Spinach. I was gonna say, make sure you save the best for last.
Okay, we did.
Spinach.
Perfect.
Spinach.
Spinach, yeah, which is kind of crazy. You don't really think about veggies having a lot of protein.
Yeah.
And the serving size here, guys, is 5.5 ounces of protein per cup.
Grams.
Oh, I'm sorry, grams. Now I'm getting my math messed up. And
So
that's really not a lot.
No,
at all,
right. 1 cooked cup, which again, you look at a cooked, spinach uncooked, you're gonna get a cup is like this big honking amount. But once you cook it up, it kind of gets a little condensed, right? So 1 cup of spinach, not that much on your plate, not that much to mix in to your other foods, and you're getting another 5.5 grams. So again, you can even double that or 1.5 it, and you're talking, I don't know, what's 1.5? You're almost 10, 11 grams of protein right there.
Somewhere between 10 and 20. Somewhere between
10 and 20.
And it's easy to mix in. We used to meal prep spinach into our meats all the time. Like frozen spinach, fresh spinach, doesn't really matter.
Dump
it
it
just
in
mix in, doesn't taste, it doesn't really have a taste that affects your meal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of mixed in and all ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
And again, it doesn't have to be a lot, but for some of you guys that are trying to hit certain protein levels and you're struggling to get there, just by eating your chicken, just by eating your eggs, just by eating your ground beef or whatever it is, that's where people start to struggle because you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm 30 grams of protein away from my goal, but I'm just too full to eat another full chicken breast right now. So like I'm kind of
just too tired of it.
Or tired of it, right? So they're kind of screwed. So again, using stuff like this and kind of sneaking it in there at 5.5 grams per cup doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you have 3 cups of spinach throughout the day, mixed into breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 17, 18 grams of protein added to your daily total, just from getting in your veggies that you were already going to eat anyway. So pretty valuable stuff.
Last one.
Well, before we get to the last one, we do have some honorable mentions because there's again.
See the order here.
Yeah, there's a lot of high protein foods. Some of them didn't quite make our list of the top 5, just because, in my opinion, they're a little. One of them is kind of like challenging to get. Like it's not a very widely known, or I guess people don't really eat it that often, which is edamame. Edamame is a great source of protein. It's from soy, and just like the peas in how pea protein is broken down into a powder form for shakes. Also, we know there's soy protein shakes. The best version of that is going to be from the actual bean itself, right? So edamame is like 21 grams of
21
protein
grams of protein per cup.
Per cup, right?
Yeah.
So it's a great source. But for me personally, I really only ever eat edamame when I'm like going out to like the freaking
The restaurants, like the fancy appetizers they got with the edamame.
No, I can't even think of hibachi. Yeah, I only ever really eat edamame when I'm like out at a very specific style of restaurant. So that's just me personally. Maybe you guys like to get it, and again, that would be a really great source to kind of add in for your veggie type of the additional little protein boost there. What's another one?
Cottage cheese.
This one's a little gross.
Yeah. And this guy used to eat it.
I used to eat it, but like I said,
applesauce.
I was putting in fruit, I was putting in applesauce, putting in a little drizzle of honey. So it really wasn't the best from a macro perspective. It did get my protein up, but overall calories, overall macros, probably not the best when you add some honey and some or like maple syrup or
yeah,
some
calories
applesauce to it. You're adding stuff to it.
So
right?
if you're a beast and you can eat that, not necessarily on the sweet side, but the savory by adding salt and pepper. I know some people like that.
Yeah, we know one of our members in the Max Shred, Beth, yesterday was just having some cottage cheese with a little bit of everything bagel seasoning on it. So again, great source of protein. The reason it didn't really make the list, even though I don't like it that much, is because dairy for some people is inflammatory, right? So some people, they have the rashes, they have the congestion when they eat dairy, and even if you don't have those things, everybody has a little bit of a reaction to dairy. So there's some positives to the protein, but then there's also a little bit of drawbacks with the dairy. So again, that's why it didn't make the top 5. And then I think the last
honorable mention is quinoa.
The last honorable mention is quinoa, and that is a good one because.
But this one also gets people in trouble.
It does.
It does get vegans a lot in trouble.
Yes.
Simply not to cut them off, just because they think that it's a high quality protein source, and they are neglecting the other macros that come along with it. So yes, quinoa is great. It's got 10 grams of protein per cup. I believe those are the correct macros. But with that 10 gram of protein also comes 40, 50 grams of carbs.
Right.
So if you build an entire plate around quinoa and say, hey, I got my protein in, I had my 2 cups of quinoa, you're essentially doubling, tripling the amount of carbs you're having in one meal. So it gets a little dangerous there for strictly protein.
Yeah, and Sarge is right. That's where it really is important how you categorize it. If you're looking at it as, hey, this is my carb for the meal, and I'm trying to hit 40 grams of carbs for this meal, then you can look at it as, hey, I boosted my protein by getting an additional 10. But to his point, if you're trying to get protein from the quinoa, and that's your main source of protein for the meal, then that's where carbs get a little out of control. So again, great source, but it doesn't quite make the list as far as the top 5 highly concentrated version of protein, all right? And the last one, though, this one is...
Give it to him.
This one is right here, is the most concentrated protein source on the planet, and it's not from an animal, right? So it's not eggs, it's not dairy, it's not chicken, it's not beef, it's not turkey, it's not any type of animal. It actually is from a plant, and it's, hopefully I'm saying it right, spirulina.
I think so.
Spirulina, spirulina. But this is an organic superfood, all right? So it's a little powder, it's a greens powder.
I think it actually might be in Earthfed and many other green powders. I know it's in there already.
There's going to be a little bit in there in small amounts.
Not too much.
You can go out to, I know there's a place right here by the gym. It's like an organic pharmacy type place, right? So you can go find just containers of the spirulina. It's probably not going to taste the best when you add it to like your main plates of like your other foods, but it's really easy to sneak into a shake and kind of blend it in and make it taste fine. But it has 57 grams of protein per 100 grams. So there is no more a highly concentrated amount of protein on planet Earth than the spirulina. But Sarge brought this up before we made this video. Obviously 100 grams is quite a bit.
It's like a half a cup, I think.
It's 100
so
grams is
a
exactly a half a cup. But if you're doing like a quarter of a cup or even an eighth of a cup or a couple tablespoons, you're still adding 5 grams, 10 grams, 15 grams of protein to your meal really, really quickly just by adding that into your protein shake. So again, you're talking Earth-Fed. You do a double scoop of Earth-Fed, right? That's 50 grams of protein. Then you do a cup of spinach in there. That's 55.5 grams of protein. Then you do a little bit of peanut butter in there, which has 7 grams of protein. Then you toss in a tablespoon of spirulina. I mean, you're talking like 80 grams of protein.
Which is a little high.
In a shake. But
it's a little high.
My point is, if you're one of those people that struggles to get in the protein, there's ways to kind of make it happen. But I think the final point that I want to make for this video, and then we'll shut it down, is that what I personally do is I try to find foods like this, right? So when I eat carbs, I'm trying to eat quinoa. I'm trying to have Ezekiel bread. I'm trying to have protein waffles, right? So I'm categorizing it as my carb for my meal, and I'm keeping my macros for my carbs in check. But then I'm looking at it as, hey, I just boosted my protein by 10 or 5 or whatever it is. Same thing with veggies, right? We all know we have to eat veggies throughout the day, so you could choose to eat broccoli. We all Love broccoli.
Love it.
It's our mascot.
Yeah.
But
It's our
broccoli,
symbol.
broccoli doesn't really have a lot of protein in it. I think it maybe even has like 1 gram. But if you can transition out of broccoli at every meal and add in again a couple cups of spinach throughout the day, you're adding 10 grams. You're adding 15 grams. It's small, but it does add up, right? And that's kind of consistent with all of these foods where you're kind of covering certain macro bases, but then always slowly kind of notching away at that protein intake as well throughout the day. So there's a lot more than just these, but again, I think these 5 that we kind of laid out are the easiest ones to kind of implement without getting too wild and too crazy.
I have another honorable mention. You kind of just hit it because I have Ezekiel bread every day. So add that to the honorable mentions category.
Yeah.
Obviously not the best ratio, but for a slice of bread, I mean, you can't get better than like 15-ish grams of carbs and an additional 5 to 6 grams of protein, I believe, in there. So I have it with breakfast every day. That would be my honorable mention for sure.
Ezekiel, I would put Ezekiel bread and quinoa in that same exact category where it's like it's a good source, has the protein, but obviously it's not going to be like the main source of your protein. But if you're hankering for some bread, you want some toast, like why would you have regular white toast with 0 protein when you can have a slice of Ezekiel bread which tastes just as good?
With less carbs and more protein.
Less carbs and more protein, right? So again, always trying to find those little sneaky ways to kind of up that protein intake throughout the day. But that's pretty much it, guys. So let us know what you guys thought of the top 5. Also in the comment section, let us know if you have any additional ones that you want us to talk about or that you have in your life that you eat. Again, there's a lot more to this list than we put out here today, but again, I think it's a really great starting point for a lot of people. What else we got to say? Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
And let us know if you have any other questions, not just about nutrition, but anything fitness related, just let us know and we'll answer it.
Yes, sir. All right, fam. Peace out.